We'll talk about that with Jimmy.
Hey everybody, sorry we're late. I was in California. We're here with a new Goots' Wrestling Pod. We're gonna talk about SummerSlam '92. But what a fucking trip to California. A lot of things went down. All I know is I was sitting with my nieces. They're these young, happy girls who are very impressionable on my birthday. And all I said to them was Vince did poo poo on some woman's head. And they were like, "Really, Uncle Ray?" And they were like, "He did poopy caca on a woman's head?" And I was like, "Yeah, he did." Uh, Vince McMahon is gone again for the second
Supposedly.
time, supposedly. Oh, well, Bruce Pritchard's still there, um, because he has sex trafficking and all sorts of deviant behavior allegations against him in a new lawsuit by a woman who worked in WWE. So Andrew Lee, first of all, we're not going to get into the lawsuit. We're not going to read everything that happened. He shit on her head during a three-way. He
Who was the third person that he took a
that
shit?
that we're not sure about.
Okay. So this lady, she was she was basically an orphan, right? Because her
Yeah.
parents had passed away, and Vince McMahon came in, and he was like, "I'm your knight in shining armor, in brown armor, and I will come and save you. I
Mhm.
will give you financial security. All that I ask is that you let me take a caca on your head."
Well, look, I'll say this. I'll say this. I think this is so. I think most women would fuck for a really good job. They won't say it, but I think they will, right?
I
But
think most everybody would,
yeah, but I think
including men.
what happened was what I think happened with this woman is that Vince went a couple of steps too far. I think most women would fuck for a job. They're not going to get shit on for a job.
Yes,
And
I
I
agree.
think when
Uh-huh.
he pulled down his pants and took a poopy on her fucking head in a three-way, she probably was like, "That's enough." And then, because in the lawsuit it
That's
says this,
where I draw the line
he
when I
did
have
say,
diarrhea
ah,
dripping down my forehead.
"I'm going to like spread these." He did kind of threaten her with something that, and then she was kind of trapped. And then he did more. So like, I will say, like, I know, like, she probably the moment he said, "If you fuck me, I'll give you a job," she probably been like, "Fuck you, you're old and disgusting." But I think fucking and getting shit on and getting fucked with a Kofi Kingston dildo are two different things.
Well, let me ask you a question, Ray.
Yeah.
It's 2017, okay? Lyndon McMahon says, "I'll give you a bullshit job in WWE. You get free merch, free perks. You get free merch, perks. While you're getting paid, all you gotta do is you gotta fuck me and my other old lady friend every once in a while." You know you would, because I would.
Well,
I
what job do I
100%
have?
would.
I want to be in creative. I don't
No, it
want.
should be like maybe if you could work your way up there, but I'm getting you in with
No, I
no
don't want to.
fucking.
I don't
Okay,
want
well
to be
that's
in there though.
you.
I don't want. I listen. Here's the thing. I don't want to ever work for WWE. I know. I worked at Caroline's, and those people were fucking horrendous. All right. With the moment I kind of got around like the upper echelon of comedy and saw how terrible people were, I know for a fact everyone at the upper echelon of WWE is probably 20 times worse than people at the upper echelon of comedy. And wrestling is like what I zone out to. You know what I mean? Like I was stressed when I landed, and I put on SummerSlam '92 to decompress. If Vince McMahon told me I was a piece of shit faggot and took a shit on my head in 2005, that's taken away from me. You know, I can't like relax to him and Bobby Heenan, going back and forth.
Do
So I
you
would never
think?
work for them.
Do you think he bragged about the shit he took on her head?
Yeah, I
Oh,
think.
you should have seen it. It
By the way,
was
I gotta say this.
oh, poop poop was dripping down her forehead. There was
They,
a piece of corn stuck between her
oh,
eyes.
oh my god. Yeah, like if Vince took a shit on my head, or I had a crush on a girl at work and he took a shit on her head, I just couldn't enjoy WWE anymore, and it's too valuable. Wrestling as a way to relax is too valuable to my mental health to work for those people. So I wouldn't, but I would fuck Linda if I got to be like second in charge of creative. Yes, depends on the job, but I don't want to be an accountant for the company.
All right, so let's just say so like I don't know, like Mattel was like, "I will give you a job here. It's a bullshit job, bullshit title, but you're gonna get money. That's the whole point. You're getting a good fucking living. You just gotta fuck this old lady. You know, everyone would. You know, I have no
Yeah, but
problem
I
with it.
think he took it to darker levels,
Oh
and I
yeah,
think
if this
that's
old lady got me, if I had this job in Mattel and I get like every once in a while I get free merch and I'm getting paid, and I have a bullshit title. I really don't do anything. I hardly get any emails. And then one day when she's having sex with me and her other old lady friend, and she takes like a granny shit on my head, yeah, I would be like, "Hey, you took it a little too far.
Or
That
yeah, so
wasn't part of the deal.
what I'm
We'll give
saying
you."
is
She's like, "I'll give you Galactus, Sonny. I'll give you the Galactus."
what I'm saying is there's a fine line between fucking someone to get a job and to get paid well, and also being thrown in the three ways, being promised to Brock Lesnar, getting shit on your head, having the tech crew having told, hey, I have 12 guys in the tech crew that want to fuck you. Da, 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 da. That's two different things, you know? So
Yeah.
like, and I think that's where like I think she realized, oh fuck, this guy's insane. And she got in over her head. That's what I'm saying. Like
Doo doo on her head, not over.
yeah, if he had said so when they first met, she opens the door, he's in his underwear, right? And
The
obviously,
red flag right there.
but that didn't deter her. But I'm sure if he said he gets her in the room, I'm gonna give you a job, but part of the job is you gotta make a pissing video for Brock Lesnar. I'm gonna shit on your head. You're gonna have to fuck the whole tech crew. You're gonna have to
Ooh.
fuck John Laurinaitis. You have to. She definitely isn't like, all right, I'm getting the fuck out of here. But if the proposition is, I will fuck you because I'm a genetic jackhammer, I'll give you a job. I could see her saying yes.
Why the tech crew? Why does he gotta fuck the tech crew?
Well, did you see the texts he sent to her that he told the tech crew that they could fuck her?
Why the tech crew? Why does he have like? Why does he like? Why does he like? I respect the tech crew so much. You can fuck this.
Hey, listen, they're a good tech crew. The production quality is top of the line. What do you those
I
video
guess,
packages?
yeah,
Dude, you ever watch like I watched last night Royal Rumble? How fast they had that recap videos? How fast
yeah.
with those
It was
recap
like right
videos?
afterwards.
Like,
Yes,
dude,
yes.
that person's editing that. Like, whoever's doing that is like sweat dripping. So yeah, I think like that person does deserve a little sex trafficking thrown their way, I guess.
Jeez.
But here's the other thing. I hate wrestling Twitter so much. People honestly believe that Triple H didn't know anything about this. If you think Triple H didn't know about Vince McMahon's behavior after working in that company for 30 years, voluntarily trying to get to the top, stealing his daughter and marrying her, if you think he doesn't know anything about a fucking creep Vince McMahon is, you are a fucking buffoon.
Yes, you're a buffoon if you think that. Absolutely, I agree.
You're a fucking Triple H knows probably more than we can ever imagine about Vince, about Sean, about Scott Hall, about a million guys in that company. If you think he doesn't know, and he probably looked the other way a lot of times.
Yeah, of course,
Yeah,
absolutely, man. Yeah,
and
you're fooling yourself if you think he doesn't know shit. You know.
yeah,
You know what? If you think Triple H doesn't know shit, didn't know this was happening, then you, my friend, I would say, probably do not know as much about wrestling as you think you do. You
mm-hmm.
know, you're a newborn.
Triple H voluntarily. Triple H went to Vince and said in 1998, "I want to be in production meetings." He forced himself into Vince McMahon's inner circle. He
Yeah,
won.
and Vince McMahon said, you want to be in it? Well, how comfortable are you with shit?
Can I shit on China's head?
Yeah, that's how it was. Like, oh, so where the big boys play, you better be comfortable with that.
Dude, how about the fact, like, let's say you're a wrestler who doesn't have a good relationship with Vince McMahon, and then you find out he has a dildo named after you. That's gotta be fucking weird.
Yeah, that's got to be really weird.
Like, I don't
Yeah.
think him and Kofi are best friends. He has a dildo named after Kofi.
Yeah, yeah, we know. Okay, so supposedly one of the things that came out is that he had different variations of dildos that he would name after his WWE superstars that he would use on this victim. And one of them that we know of is Kofi Kingston, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wait, did you see the story about why he used the dildo named Kofi?
No, please tell the story.
So, I guess he's telling her the booking of the match where Kofi gets squashed. And she said to him, I think it'd be better if Kofi won because David and Goliath, people love David and Goliath stories, or at least he puts up a fight. And Vince said to her, "Oh, I'll take that under advice. I think that's a good idea." And then the match happened how Vince wanted it anyway. And then that night he pulled out a black dildo and said, "This is the Kofi," and he fucked her with the Kofi.
So fucking weird.
But
Can
see
you?
that to me shows what contempt he has for the audience. So that's why when like they book shit like that, that booking of the Kofi thing was like a fuck you to everyone who paid money at WrestleMania to see Kofi Mania. It was like a fuck you, and the fact that he never got a push ever again, that shows you what he thinks of people.
How do you think Kofi feels here?
I,
Hearing that your boss named a dildo after you and used it to fuck a woman after
after he booked you to be to
after
he did it on purpose. I knew it at the time. That booking was purposely done to humiliate Kofi.
Mm-hmm.
Because he resented the fact that he had to give Kofi any type of push.
Yeah, of course. I think imagine hearing that story, like I'll be like, Jesus, man, my boss did what?
You know what though? I bet you Kofi is rich, and I think if I'm Kofi, you just deny it and you take it out of your head until you have like 1,000% proof, and then you have to deal with it. But like,
you know what? There's another thing too, though. The same guy who did this to you is also the guy who made you lots of money.
He's paying
right?
you millions, and hopefully you're investing money.
Yeah, and gave you the opportunity to live your dreams, right? He got to be in WrestleMania, win the championship, right? And it's like, you know what? This guy named a dildo after me.
You know what I was thinking? I was because eventually the show, like I was like, when did WWE start having contempt for us? And I think it was around when Austin walked out. That's when Vince kind of in 2002. That's when the show kind of became more Vince's like, go fuck yourself to the world, and I'm also gonna have my fetishes on screen rather than an entertaining show. Because WCW was gone, and Stone Cold had to disagree with him, and then he used the whole episode of Raw to shit on Stone Cold, and people kept watching, and I think that's when he started contempt for all of us.
No, maybe that's when he realized I could just do whatever I want.
Yes, because in the 90s he couldn't, as we're gonna see.
Yeah. But when he realized he has no competition, he just can't do whatever he wants. He has to.
And that's when he started to be like, these people are pathetic. They'll watch me no matter what.
Yeah, they'll watch. He's like, I can probably have me out there just talking for 2 hours and they'll watch.
And that's why, like, he kind of put out 2003. There's basically storylines where this like the subtext is he wants to fuck Steph, or he had Steph fuck people for money. Like, he really put it out there what he is about.
Yo, what's it with these people who want to have sex with their dog? Like Donald Trump and Vince McMahon, they both kind of allude to like wanting to have sex with their daughter. That's very weird.
I don't know. I mean, I'm close to younger females in my family, and I don't even want to like say like, oh, you look nice in that dress or something. Like, it's totally non-sexual, and I don't understand. And they're not my daughters.
I'm the same way. I don't even want to compliment them, right?
Yeah, I'm like, if they like some guy said if they said to me some guy said I look like shit, I'd be like, fuck you, you're gorgeous. You know what I mean? Like, fuck that. But like, other than that, it's like I hope you find like a guy who like treats you well, but like that's just not in me. And that's not my daughter. These women are not my daughters. So like, I can't imagine what it is like when you have a daughter that you want to fuck her. I also Wade Keller has revealed that Stephanie won't let him see his granddaughters, probably because they're starting to get tits. They're almost 18, so.
Whoa, Steph's not letting him meet his granddaughters?
His granddaughters anymore.
Yeah, I think that's smart. Yeah, I think that's
You're getting voluptuous.
Oh God. Ugh, I don't want to think about it. We gotta change the subject.
Dude, like, but here's what I want to say though. Here's what I want to say. Like if you have to, if you're gonna be a fan of this, like we are, you have to accept the fact that everyone's a horrible person. And some people even worse than you realize. And acting like that other people at top of WWE didn't know about this shit, you're an idiot. Like, everyone knew, everyone has to go. And I'll tell you what, I'll tell you who should be getting their resume ready. Fucking having their resume ready to go.
Bruce?
No, he's out of here. I'm talking in terms of getting hybrid WWE. Scott D'Amore. I think if they clean house, which I mean is they get rid of Hunter, they get rid of Bruce, they get rid of
I don't think they're getting rid of Hunter.
I think they're getting rid of Hunter.
You think so?
I think they're gonna. I think everyone is. If I was Endeavor, I would get rid of everyone associated with that man. Everyone. I would get rid of everyone. I would get rid of Michael Hayes. I would get rid of him. I would get rid of everybody. because Triple H still has to see this guy. So there is, if Triple, like, you have to assume, like, he could, Hunter, I've been watching the show, and I think Bronson Reed should beat Cody at SummerSlam. And then Triple H goes in and goes, like, we're going to have Bronson. Well, in other words, I don't want this man having any influence. I don't even care, like I want him gone. And I would get Michael Hayes. The three people I would get rid of sooner than later are Triple H, Michael Hayes, and Bruce Pritchard. And then there's probably some others.
Just put Shawn Michaels in charge.
I'd get rid of him too. He's close with Hunter. I'll tell you who I think might get hired, and I'll tell you why, even though I think he's an idiot. Scott D'Amore. Because here's why I think Scott D'Amore is a better hire than Tony Khan to run with Paul Heyman. I would keep Paul Heyman because I don't think he's ever been in Vince's inner circle. I don't think the way Bruce talks about him, I can tell Vince has nothing but contempt for him, which is why I keep him around. You know what I'm saying?
Huh?
Scott D'Amore didn't like build TNA, but he did keep it running at a steady pace, and that's more valuable to a corporation than what Tony Khan did. So right now, WWE is on top of the world. If this fat idiot can just keep it running the way it is now, you're good for like 10 years. And then you can
I will agree to that, but that fat idiot did just keep it running. So I will I will agree to that. Yeah. In some ways, he's actually starting to improve it,
So like, and you think if they said to him, we're gonna get rid of we're gonna get rid of Triple H, Bruce Pritchard, everybody, we want you in charge with Paul Heyman and Gabe Sapolsky, you think he wouldn't be like, you think he'd be like, oh no, I gotta stay in TNA? He would fucking run over there.
Maybe, or they might even have Jeremy Borash, because Jeremy Borash is already
Jeremy
there.
Borash,
Chris Parks.
Also, you know who else I would like let myself be available? Jeff Jarrett. I would like kind of be like, hey,
I would, yeah.
I know
he'll write himself into the first segment, but yeah,
I would get rid of Hunter. When I saw Hunter's answers yesterday, they were so bad. Like, did you see his answers? Like, I don't want to focus on negatives.
Yeah,
he's got to go too. Because he's part of the culture. He's part of the inner circle. He's part of the carny. He's always going to protect like the Vince way. Just get rid of him. Like, you don't have to get rid of these people tomorrow, but you should be making plans in the back of life after Triple H.
Oh, I think they already are. Probably.
Yeah, I think they are. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're having this kind of thought, I can only imagine what the TKO people are thinking, right?
I mean, yeah, because like there's stuff that we don't know about. That's probably
of course.
We're being told. It's just get rid of this fucking guy too. Like he's never not gonna be associated with Vince because he has Vince's granddaughters.
But he can't see them.
Doesn't matter. You're always associated with that guy. So, and look, he stood next to Vince on Monday at fucking Wall Street smiling.
Yeah.
But so that was it. What do you think of the Rumble?
I liked it. Another name to throw in there, The Rock. The Rock maybe wants to run.
Well, The Rock's a board member already, so there you go.
Yeah, he wants to run it.
The Rock, Scott D'Amore.
Actually, there was, speaking of the Rumble, there was no Rock. I thought The Rock might be there. He didn't show up.
I'm glad.
I like the women's Rumble better than the men's Rumble. How about you?
I like the women's Rumble. I like the finishing sequence in the men's Rumble a little bit more between Cody and Punk. I will say that crowd sucked. That crowd was awful.
The crowd was awful, but man, I thought the last like 10 minutes of the women's Rumble, like from when Becky Lynch gets eliminated, everything is so good. It's so exciting. The Becky Lynch getting eliminated early, the Belair, the Tiffany Stratton thing where she's like yanking her down.
Dude, it's crazy how much better Jade is from TNA.
Oh my god, the presentation. Oh man, that was another thing I was thinking.
Even when she's hitting moves,
yeah,
she looks 1,000% better.
Granted, they kept her away from the cameras, just getting probably training. She's been with them for over a year now, right?
No, she got hired in September, October, dude.
No.
Yeah. Dude, she wrestled at all in. Or All Out. One of the alls.
Oh yeah, you're right. At the end of September. So okay, so she's been
3
probably
months.
training away from the cameras for the past 4 months, right?
Yeah.
So she got much better. What happened also was when I was watching Cody and CM Punk fighting, the whole time I was thinking like, man, Tony Khan, you had first dibs at this. Like legit, you had first dibs at this. Like they were in the same company at the same time, and
He
you this
constantly
could have
fumbled.
been yeah, you had the first dibs, and it's just like man,
Dude,
I don't.
I
It's
was
like WCW. They had first dibs on Kevin Nash, first dibs on Scott Hall.
well,
They didn't do
they
shit
got
with them.
third dibs. They got it back, but they were
Yeah,
already
I guess they got third
um
dibs. They got third
they
dibs.
got it back. You know what? You know what the other thing was like? So I was on a plane ride on Friday night. So I watched SmackDown and Rampage. And this is the right reason why Tony Khan's an idiot. John Moxley is like having this back and forth match with Lee Moriarty. And it goes like 15, 17 minutes. And I'm like, but I know Lee Moriarty's a jobber. I know it's the same thing when he did it with Evil Uno. Remember he was bleeding when he's bleeding like he's wrestling fucking Bruiser Brody. When they do that, they have these guys go back and forth with jobbers, but like then they never like have them interact with like the real stars. Like I'm trying to think
You,
here.
you ever notice that whenever, not all the time, but a lot of times when we're talking about like something stupid about AEW, we're constantly using Lee Moriarty as like an
Well, like it's like a 15-minute back and forth match, and I'm like, well, if Lee Moriarty is that good, why does like half his matches he gets squashed? Like now all of a sudden he's going back and forth, and that was the thing, man. Fucking, they have CM Punk, they have Daniel Bryan, they have Adam Cole. We're talking about the fall of 2021. You have Rusev, you have Andrade, you have Aleister Black, and what do you have CM Punk doing? Having a back and forth match with Bobby Fish on a Friday night. And it's like, what are you waiting for? Like right away, it's been 2 months. If CM Punk quits on Monday, if CM Punk says, like, you know what? I didn't realize how much he pooped on her head. I quit again. Fuck this. I'm going back to Cole Cabena's podcast. You got your money was worth out of him. You got your money's worth. He put over Cody. You know what I'm saying? You already got your
yeah.
money's worth. You sold a bunch of t-shirts. You sold a bunch of tickets. He made Cody look like a badass.
Oh my gosh, Lee Moriarty.
And fucking Tony Khan did not get his money's worth out of CM Punk. So
No, he didn't. He actually it cost him a lot of money
yeah, he's a fucking
because he had to pay
CM
him.
Punk on Monday is like, you know what? I really read the lawsuit. I can't stay here. I don't like that much poop on my girls' heads.
And you
It's
know what? It's not even CM Punk's fault that Tony Khan didn't make
no.
enough money on him because he was selling merch, right? He's selling my merch. No, actually, and then CM Punk got injured a lot. He got
By the way,
injured like
I heard, and I can't tell you who told me this, but you know, most of the wrestlers think the company has 2 years left.
wait. Most of the wrestlers think they have what? Wait, repeat that.
AEW has 2 years left.
I disagree with that.
Because they're basically like Tony just does not listen to any like advice. He does not listen to any constructive criticism. He is literally treating this like his e-fed, and it doesn't matter how. Well, like I said to you on the phone the other day, I could see the father being like, "You're just blowing your money on pulling the plug on this. You can't keep wasting all your inheritance."
Okay, yeah. So just to summarize, so that people understand, there is a wrestler or wrestlers from AEW who have informed Ray that most of the wrestlers in AEW only think that AEW only has about 2 years left before it's the plug's pulled. So we're talking 2026. I'm disagreeing, and I think it's gonna stay around for a while because number one, this is what sons of billionaires do. They buy existing products, they turn it into shit, and it still keeps going. Kind of like Elon Musk when he bought Twitter and Tesla. Tesla's fucking bad too right now, and they're just gonna keep going. And that's why I think AEW is gonna keep going because number one, it is losing money, but it's not losing money on par with like how much money Twitter and Tesla lost. Right? It's losing money, but it's not billions. It's not losing billions. And I think like if I'm a billionaire and my goofy fucking son, my only son, is like has this fucking thing and it's like keeping him happy, I'll just be like, you know what, it's fine. It's worth the fucking, hundreds or whatever that's costing me. So I think it's gonna be around for a little bit longer. At least
You know what?
5 more years.
My counterpoint is we don't know exactly what the relationship between the father and the son is. Some of these coworkers may have more insight and may know more that the father might be getting more annoyed than we know.
Dude, you wanna do another bet?
I mean, your logic. Well, no, I
Yeah.
got to pay off the first bet. Your logic is the father's going to let him. We don't know what the private conversation between the father and the son are. The father might be being like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
This is so funny because it's like it's another 2 year bet. Remember, because our first bet was that I said in 2 years AEW will keep being successful, and you said it would fold, right?
Let
So
me
I
fulfill
won
the
that
first.
bet.
Let me
Do you
fulfill
want
the
to do? Do
first
you
bet.
want to do double or nothing?
What's double or nothing?
Okay, so the bet would be
I have
I'm
to take
gonna.
you to a steak dinner for the first bet.
Yeah, no, but double or nothing. If you win, you owe me nothing. But if I win, now you owe me twice the amount.
So how much steak are you gonna have? Like
Like
three
four.
steaks?
That'll be four. That'll be four steaks. Four steaks. No,
Let,
all right, fine, forget it. I was gonna let's double it
like
up.
you're not gonna eat four steaks. I'm gonna order four steaks, and you're just,
No. You would have to take me out 4 different times.
well, wouldn't double or nothing be two steaks?
No, because I would win the second bet, so that's multiply that double.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because yeah, you already owe me one steak
Let me
dinner,
pay
right?
off the one, then we'll tell you another bet.
Yeah.
Let me pay off the one. I don't want to. I still want to pay off the one. I mean,
But
listen,
yeah,
they might again not again because I can't tell you how I know this information on the podcast, but they might be privy to private conversations that we're not, where they
that's true. No, you're absolutely right.
where there's been Tony has said to people, my dad said I have 2 years. That's was what I would do at this point with this kid. Watching the footage of Wednesday, if I was his dad, and I know it's like, but the reason you stay a billionaire is you don't blow millions every year. I would say to him, you have 2 years to turn this around, or I'm going to sell it.
Man, dude, I'm gonna tell you right now, as wrestling fans, we need AEW to stick around. We need it to stick around.
Well, this is why I don't like Tony Khan. That's true, but I also need Tony Khan to change things around, to see that a lot of his shit isn't working. Like, dude, the ratings seem really bad for Collision. You don't counter program the Royal Rumble with Yuji Nagata. Nobody gives a fuck about Yuji Nagata except
Wait,
for people
the
on
ratings
Twitter.
for the ratings for Collision have been terrible for a long time.
They're like even worse.
Since like week two, wasn't it bad since like week two?
It's really bad. We had it on actually. I watched the show with Dan St. Germain, and we had Collision on the laptop. And his wife came in the room, and she goes like, "The laptop looks like Eddie Kingston was wrestling Willie Mack." She goes, "That looks like a local bar, and this looks like a big budget production to the room."
Yeah, you can't even compare the two. There's no way.
And
Yeah.
then like she sees Eddie Kingston and Willie Mack, and she just starts laughing. Like she just starts laughing. And again, she's not. She goes, "Is that AEW? I can't believe the words I'm saying." Is what she said to me and Dan. But she was
Did
like,
you guys laugh?
yeah. I started laughing, and I told her what my nephew said. Why did Edge go to AEW? Because he knew he'd always win because everybody there sucks. You know,
That is, he knows he'll always win. Is that why I went to AEW? Because he knows he'll always win.
because everyone there sucks.
Oh my god.
Like, dude, like if you're all like nobody gives a shit about Eddie Kingston and Willie Mack. Willie Mack. Oh my god, Jesus! You can't body shape. It's always these fucking Twitter people.
I don't think he signed with them either.
Yeah, he's on the show. By the way, who did Rich Swann piss off? He went from being like the main event of Impact. He's on Explosion now. He's barely in any storylines. Like when you're demoted to jobber status in TNA, you know your career is in the fucking toilet.
Yeah.
Like that's bad. All right.
Wow, this guy's selling wrestling autograph pictures
No,
for
Willie Mack.
dollars. There's a lot. I mean, he has Hogan, like black and white Hogan. He got Sting, Tony
Yeah, Willie Mack.
Storm,
All right,
PCO.
listen. Look at the autographs later. We got to get to the business at hand because I'm sure there's fans who click on this. They want to hear about the old school. They want to hear about when Vince only pooped on one head a year instead of multiple heads. We're talking about 1992, SummerSlam 92. Check out the shirt, brother.
Oh, that's actually pretty cool. You got a SummerSlam 1992 shirt. That's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
Bret Hart versus British Bulldog.
Yeah.
Overall, what did you think of this show?
I did not like this show. It's only worth watching really one match. The rest of it's garbage.
I liked the first two matches, but you're right. But I like the two main matches. But whatchamacallit, what was I gonna say? This did feel like a big deal. When you watch the show, it feels like a big deal.
Previously I'd only watched this match. I never watched the full pay-per-view,
Yeah.
right? And now that I've seen the full pay-per-view, I was like, oh, I think it was better just not watching the full pay-per-view. But we'll get into it. You know, we're gonna get into every single thing of what I didn't like. But it's SummerSlam
Oh, but
1992, the
it's
first
better than
time.
Great American Bash '92, though. You have to give it that.
Yeah, the first time it's been a long time since we actually reviewed a WWF pay-per-view. We were in WCW land forever,
Oh,
and it was a welcome change. I will give
it
you that.
was. It just feels.
Just
It
the
feels.
just the production and
Yes.
just like you know what it's like too. Yeah, because before Royal Rumble, I did do a lot of AEW watching. I was just catching up on a lot of AEW on Friday night, right?
Mhm.
And you're seeing like it's smaller arenas, like or smaller attendance. You can clearly see it and you can hear it. And on Royal Rumble, it's like 40,000 plus, and it's just like humongous, right?
Mhm.
And it's the same feeling when you're watching these WWF pay-per-views where there's 7,000 people or something like that. That's what they were averaging, right? About
Okay.
7,000 people. SummerSlam 1982.
Even the worst match on
78.
the show is
Yeah.
appealing to look at. At least it's appealing to look at.
Yes. It's 78,927, right? That's a lot. Remember, that's the supposed number, right?
Yeah.
It's over 78,000. That's like over 70,000 more than what WCW pay-per-views are drawing. It's huge difference.
Yeah.
So it's welcome change. Feels
But
good.
again, I think the reason why it drew so well was because UK is starved for US wrestling, which is why All Out sold so well this year. All In,
Yeah,
I mean, whatever.
last year.
Last year,
That's
yeah, because they just want it. So like you could give them a shit card. I mean, UK fans still talk about SummerSlam '92 like it was WrestleMania 3, but it's
it
just
was
that
like
that's
the
all
rest.
they have to remember about
Exactly. Do you know the show begins where it's called SummerSlam 1992, the SummerSlam you thought you'll never see. It's brought to us by Ico Pro. Do you guys remember Ico Pro?
Yeah, that was Vince's first drug rape drug.
Yeah, Vince's first. Um, he besides wrestling, he decided to go into protein powder, right? So
Yeah,
Ico Pro was
no
his
one bought
protein.
it.
Yeah, secret ingredient was poop. He put little pieces of shit in it. Ico Pro for everybody that cares about their body. So after a little advertisement, we get shots of British fans with British music playing. It's taking place in August 29th, 1992 at Wembley Stadium, right? Um, and we get shots of England and Vince McMahon Jr. He welcomes us to the arena, and he says there are over 80,000 fans here. So he said there's over 80,000. The attendance, if you look it up on other sites, they say it's about 78,000. What's the real figure, right? Because this was a huge argument that everybody was getting into last year when All In happened for AEW at Wembley Stadium, which drew 72,000,
Mhm.
right? And here's a
My
better question.
Who gives a shit?
Who gives a fuck? Yeah, who
So
gives a
here's the
fuck?
thing:
I don't
a
care.
ton of people were there, and they had a great time, and they remember it to this day. So whether or not Tony Khan had a few more thousand or Vince McMahon had a few more thousand, people had fun. People went. The company made money, and British Bulldog had the best day of his life, and everyone had a great time. And the show does not hold up.
I
That's
agree.
that's what's important. It just
Yeah.
like to me, it's like this whole dick measuring contest. Well, we don't know how many. Who gives a fuck? Like
Who
if
gives
it's
a fuck?
if tomorrow night Triple H walks out on Raw and goes like 95 million people were at the Royal Rumble last night. They know 95 million people were in the building. What do I give a shit that he said that? Who
Yeah.
cares? Like
Who cares?
is
And
it like
if you're just petty, you know what? If you want to say AEW All In drew more, fine. If that's what helps you sleep at night,
yeah.
I'll give you that. I do not give a fuck.
I saw
It
people
doesn't.
in I
I
saw
don't
people
care.
in the
Yeah,
building.
I don't care who drew more. It's like apples to apples when it's over. Like when it's over like 50,000, it doesn't fucking matter,
Yeah.
right?
I think the
You
only
guys
time
are
it
bullshit.
matters was on Dynamite this week when there was no one in the building.
It was
They
under
had to like
2,000. That's
ruin
when
the
it mattered.
show to like hide it.
Yeah, it was under 2,000. Did you
Dude,
know that
did
Dynamite?
you watch Dynamite yet?
I watched No, last week's I did not
They
watch.
kept cutting whenever they did like their recaps or whatever, or their sponsor cutaways. You know, WWE shows the whole crowd when they do this.
Yes,
Like, next
of
roll is
course.
brought to you by Ico. They showed the ceiling of the building, so they couldn't.
Yeah,
Crowd
and
show.
that's when the numbers do matter. When it's
Yeah,
under 2,000
that's
for
that's
your
when the numbers matter. But like, as if there's a packed house and they're loving the show, which this crowd loved the show, they were having a good time. I think that's all that matters. Let people,
all that
it
matters. I
doesn't
agree.
affect my life. If WWE sold 60,000 or 80,000 to this show, they still made a fucking ton of money. So
Yeah, and if it stunk, I'm still gonna say it sucked. I don't care how many people were in the audience.
yeah,
And if it was great, I'm gonna say it was great. I don't care how
and
many people were in the audience.
people went. All that matters is people showed up and they seemed to enjoy themselves. So
Yeah. All right, so Junior, he is on commentary with Bobby Heenan. No Gorilla Monsoon. I'm assuming Gorilla couldn't make the show.
he
So what?
he probably I don't know. I wish Gorilla was on commentary for this show.
I think like he just didn't want to fly or something.
I
just
think
think like
but now Vince starts alternating between him and Gorilla starting.
I see. Anyways, Bobby Heenan's he's doing the goofy thing. He's putting on Jerry Lawler's fucking crown and shit, and Junior calls him a royal pain. It doesn't have the same feel of Gorilla and Heenan.
No, it doesn't.
Comedy back and forth, but it's like a nice. He's trying. I'll give Junior that he's trying. We're going to our first match. It's Money Incorporated, a tag team which Ray Goods hates. I like them, but I don't know why you hate them, bro.
That's so boring. They're so boring. Case in point, this match wasn't that bad.
Yeah, Money Incorporated with Jimmy Hart, and right before the IRS gets in the mic, he said, "These Brits are all tax cheats." Get some booing, and out comes the Legion of Doom on fucking motorcycles, riding in so fucking cool. They've got the gold shoulder pads, right? They got motorcycles, they got gold shoulder pads. Everything is so fucking cool until you see that stupid ass Rocco. And you're like, why is this puppet here?
Dude, I just realized Paul Ellering is still in the company and Vince isn't. Who would have guessed that?
Paul Ellering is back with the company.
He was at the Rumble last night and he was cutting promos on SmackDown and Vince isn't. Paul Ellering might be in charge of WWE.
Yeah, he's got a great mind. I do. The Rocco puppet idea wasn't even his idea.
No,
I'm sure he. Yeah. They wanted to give him a puppet. It's so like lame because you see this and it's like there's such a cool entrance. They've got cool gear, right? It's gold, right? You're like, holy shit, like gold variant. They should make figures of that gold variant.
I think they did. I think Jax did, and they're rare.
Oh, okay. It looks dope. And then you got the stupid puppet. It's just so stupid. Hawk and DiBiase, they start, and Legion of Doom, they have the upper hand early on because they're bigger. And then IRS puts Hawk in a sleeper. And while this is happening, the camera does a close-up shot of Rocco the puppet chanting, Hawk, Hawk, Hawk.
Oh,
oh my God, it's awful. Money Incorporated, they beat on Hawk most of the match, and Animal finally hot tags in, he cleans house. They set up DiBiase for the Doomsday device, but IRS stops it, and DiBiase and then IRS, they bonk heads. So then Animal basically power slams DiBiase for the win. I'm assuming they were like, no, none of us are taking the Doomsday device.
Also, Hawk looked out of shape.
Yeah, I guess.
You heard the story that he was drunk at this show.
Geez, he was?
They couldn't find him before the show. He was kind of fucked up.
Oh, I would also refuse to take the fucking Doomsday device. Yeah.
I was very surprised because I remember as a kid not liking this match. This was my favorite LOD WWE match that we've seen so far.
Really?
Of their WWE matches.
Wait, didn't they have
Dude, the Natural Disasters match sucked.
Didn't they have a match with the Nasties?
Yeah, that match was okay. I like this. I don't know why I like this match more, but I used to like the Nasties match more. But
at least the Nasties, they took the fucking Doomsday device. Remember that?
Yeah, but I mean, I don't care.
Them.
But I don't care if they hit the Doomsday device and the match sucks.
I didn't think the match sucked. Them versus Nasty. I thought it was okay.
It was okay. I thought this match was better.
Let me ask you a question. You're telling me that when Money Inc. used to beat on jobbers, and then fucking Ted DiBiase will put the $100 in that guy's mouth, and then walk away right for IRS to come back and fucking take the money out of that guy's mouth. You didn't like that, brother? You're telling me that wasn't fun?
No, because
that was so much fun. It made so much sense. It's the fucking billionaire, and it's the tax man. He steals the 100 after he puts it in his mouth. Forget about
IRS to me stinks of the failure, the stench of failure. I mean,
you know what? If you're listening, let us know what were your thoughts on Money Inc. as a tactic because I fucking liked him a lot. Anyways, and he
I
did.
thought this was my favorite Money Inc. match so far in
Yeah,
this journey.
fair enough. Mean Gene, he is in the back with former champion Ric Flair. Ric Flair, he's dressed in gear. And Gene asks him, and he goes, "Well, you always got to be ready for a match." And it's like, "Yeah, Ric Flair doesn't even have a match tonight." That was very weird.
Well, you notice he was always in gear. He never
But
wore.
why wasn't Ric Flair given a match at SummerSlam?
I think Vince lost faith in him because he bled at
Oh, you think so?
yeah.
Him bleeding at WrestleMania was like, "You fucking asshole! I told you not to do that, and you did that."
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think that's a good point. I think that's a very good point that he lost faith in him after
Because I would have done Papa Shango Ultimate Warrior, and I would have done Ric Flair Savage too at this show.
that. Yeah. Mean Gene asks him, "Hey, whose corner is Mr. Perfect going to be in?" Macho Man's the Warriors, and Ric Flair says, "Perfect will be in the winner's corner." And then we get Sean Mooney. He's in the back with Virgil, who says Nails. He's going to be fighting Nails, by the way.
Yeah.
And Virgil says, well, it's a hell of a promo. He goes, "Nails, I saw what you did to Boss Man, but I am going to survive Nails because you got to want it, man." And he goes and he leaves by saying he's too legit to quit. I don't understand it. I don't get it. He's gonna survive Nails because you got to want it, man.
You gotta want to survive Nails.
I guess. I just thought it was
I
really
guess
funny.
Boss Man didn't want to survive when Nails attacked him.
Yeah, I just thought it was really funny. He was gonna say like, "I'm gonna survive Nails because like I'm gonna be smart, or I'm gonna like, I have no fear, but it's because you gotta want." I just thought it was really funny that he said
You
that.
gotta
But
want it.
anyways, you gotta want it, man. You know who did not want it? Nobody wanted the second match. Nails versus Virgil. Nails is an ex-convict character. He basically no sells everything. And then when Nails gets out of the ring, Junior has to keep saying he's escaping the ring. And Heenan calls him out on that, which I thought was actually one of the few times that they had really good chemistry. Nails, he puts on a shitty side suplex on Virgil, and the ref calls for the bell saying that the Virgil is knocked out, but Virgil's still on his feet, so how can he be knocked out? It's stupid. Afterwards, Nails beats him with a nightstick. Thoughts on this?
I hated this match. Nails has to be one of the worst wrestlers I've ever seen.
He wasn't good. He really wasn't good.
Anything. By the way, you know how everyone said Nails' thing was bullshit? Oh, Vince came on to him and like everyone thought he was a liar. I'm sorry. Do you think he was telling the truth?
No, I think he was lying about that.
Maybe Vince wanted Nails to tag team a chick with him and poop on her head.
Maybe. I feel like Nails didn't really even have a good body because he was wearing that fucking jumpsuit the whole time.
Nails is horrible.
Yeah.
This match was atrocious. They should have fired him the second this match was over. So there's no hope for you. Because he's been wrestling for years at this point.
Oh my God, are you serious? You're right. Oh my God. He was around since 1984. And it's like, that means it's close to 10 years he's been wrestling.
Yeah.
Ugh, terrible. Let's move on.
He's awful.
Yeah. Lord Alfred Hayes. He's at Macho Man's locker room, dressing room, and he's wondering, is Mr. Perfect's in there or not? And he says he'll report once he goes, "I am here to report that Macho Man's dressing room is locked." I'm like, that was nothing. You gave us nothing, you fucking idiot. And then Mean Gene, he is with Sherry Martel, and they do a recap of the Shawn Michaels, Rick Martel feud that's happening. And, it starts with Rick Martel winking at Sherry. And then this whole thing, they're both pretty boys. So Sherry asked this match be a no face hitting rules match.
Okay.
And HBK calls for her off camera. We're going to go right into our match number 3. It is a no face hitting match. That's what this is. No face hitting allowed. Martel is in the ring first. He's dressed up like he's a tennis player versus Shawn Michaels, HBK, with Sherry Martel as well. So say Sherry. That's her last name, Martel, right?
Yeah, Sherry Martel.
Yeah. So Bobby Heenan and Martel actually right before this match starts both say "Eat your heart out," Andre Agassi, which was kind of interesting, right? They both said that it was like mind reading. Anyway, um, Heenan when HBK is coming out, Heenan's like whistling HBK's theme, and Sherry comes out with assless chaps that look amazing.
This is one of her best outfits of all time.
Oh my god, dude! Her assless chaps were it is fantastic.
This is
She's
where Vince,
so
this is where
under
Vince started getting some ideas.
yeah, she is so underrated as like a looker.
As a babe, yeah.
I think she purposely wore all that shit on her face because she was like, I'm really good looking, so I'm not gonna get booed as much. I need to
Yeah,
be ugly.
she needed, yeah. She's
Yeah.
so hot. It really.
So both the story of this match is both these guys are bad guys, right? Shawn Michaels is
Yeah,
a
this is
bad guy.
the
Rick
first ever
Martel.
bad guy versus bad guy match on pay per view ever. I
Yeah.
think.
When I was when I was a kid, I actually was very intrigued by this, and I really wanted to watch this match. Um, and when your match is happening, the even though they're both heels, the fans are kind of cheering for Shawn Michaels a little more. You know,
Mhm. He's more
good
like
back and forth between them, and then Martel sends Shawn Michaels over the top rope. Bill Watts was watching this, and he was super pissed. He was like, "What the
how
fuck was
dare
that?"
you? I'm trying to make these new rules to get to draw money.
Yeah, that's some bullshit. That's nobody gonna believe that over the top rope. As Sherry Martel's checking on Shawn Michaels, who's on the ground, Martel grabs her and he hugs her. Back in the ring, they're trading tights pulling spots where they're both showing their butts. A lot of ass being shown in this match by Sherry, HBK, and Rick Martel. Billy Gunn had a boner watching this from the back.
Hmm.
They get mad and they start trading face slaps.
Yeah.
But this is a no face hitting match, but this is allowed. This causes Sherry to faint on the apron, and then she takes a bump to the floor, and then they fight outside of the walkway, and then they both get counted out. That's a double count out. And this is so stupid. And I'm thinking, why is this double count? This should have been a DQ from the beginning because they were face hit, right?
Hmm.
But anyways, Shawn Michaels starts carrying Sherry, but then Martel fucking runs and he fucking nails him. Shawn Michaels like dumps Sherry on the ground. He picks up Sherry and he starts going to the back. Shawn Michaels attacks Martel. Each time this is happening, Sherry's taking like some horrific falls on the ground. Ultimately, Rick Martel returns with a bucket of water. He dumps it on Sherry, which gets a big pop, and then she finally wakes up and they all go in the back. This was kind of stupid.
I hated this. It doesn't hold up for me.
No, it does not hold up. Yeah, it is kind of stupid.
Uh, it's a heel versus heel match. These two are great workers. They couldn't show it because they're doing comedy instead of like having a real match. And the storyline, there's really no payoff because like, they just drop it after this. So it was like it was just a way to kill time on the show. I thought it was very stupid.
Yeah, when I was a kid, I really wanted to watch this, like I said. And when I started watching this, the beginning, it starts off pretty good because there's this
Yeah.
back and forth. Let's do wrestling. And I'm like, oh, this is actually pretty good. But then when they started doing the fucking like Sherry feints and all that shit, I was like, this is some garbage bullshit.
There's a
And I wish
reason why, you know, I mean, AEW sometimes doesn't it? There's a reason why you have faces versus heels. Like that's the dynamic. Or face versus face, even. This was a weird show. There's heels versus heels, there's faces versus faces. It's a weird show.
it is. It is.
Yeah.
And there's people who should have a match that don't even have a match, right?
Yeah.
All right, Sean Mooney, he's with the Nasty Boys and Jimmy Hart, and they're laughing at Sherry what happened to her, and then they get serious about not having a title shot. The Nasty Boys also don't have a match here.
Yeah. No. So they cut a bunch of matches that were on the show. So there are matches that,
Oh, they're not having a match like on SummerSlam proper. They're like
yeah.
dark matches.
Yeah, well, it's funny because they were like they were aired in the UK but not in America. I'll tell you what matches they are right now.
Okay. Well,
So
he's
Jim Duggan and the Bushwhackers versus the Mountie and Nasty Boys. Papa Shango versus Tito Santana. Then Legion of Doom is the third match. And then Tatanka and Berserker.
yeah, I see that. So that's weird why they would have these matches not on some. I guess because SummerSlam, time constraints. I'm guessing.
and they aired it on tape delay over here because UK time's weird, so they recorded and the next day they put it on pay-per-view over here.
Yeah.
We didn't get the results because there was no internet, so
Oh, okay. So a lot of people who I was like, I'm surprised they were off the card. They actually did have matches, but they were all dark matches. Okay.
yeah.
All right. Well, the Nasties are the ones who are going to have dark matches, and they are mad because they're like, why are we not getting a title shot? And they basically pressured their manager, who's also a manager of another tag team, Jimmy Hart, to get them a title shot, which he says he will. And we are going to go to our next match. I'm sorry, not the natural disaster. He's not the forget what I said. Anyways, we're gonna go to match number 4. This is for the tag titles.
Yeah.
The Beverly Brothers with the Genius versus the Natural Disasters, who are the tag team champions. The Beverlys get a jump on the fucking Disasters for about 5 seconds before the Disasters they just take over, and then they start attacking them. But then Earthquake accidentally squashes Typhoon. And then this allows the Beverlys to start taking control, and they beat on Typhoon, and they beat on Typhoon. Keenan lets us know during this match that Shawn Michaels has left the building. I used to love that.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah. When the referee is distracted, Blake of the Beverlys uses the metal scroll on Typhoon, but Quaker breaks up the pin and gets the hot tag in. He hits the Earthquake splash that gets a humongous ovation, and they win. Afterwards, they dump the Genius out at the end. What did you think?
I don't like Natural Disasters' faces. I don't like the Beverly Brothers. I didn't like this match.
But you have to admit, the Beverly Brothers did have one hell of a theme song. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was like the lifestyle version. Yeah, I know it's good. I mean, I can't get into it's just so weird to have the Natural Disasters the good guys. It's weird. So
how loud was that pop for that Earthquake splash?
Oh, dude, these people were starved for this shit. They probably go down to see that in person.
Yeah.
You think about it.
Yeah, go ahead.
If you live in the UK and you didn't go to this show, you never saw Earthquake live. There was no other chance you could see Earthquake live unless you.
Yeah, that's true. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Mean Gene, he's with the Bushwhackers, and he says a dentist wants to sell Luke a London Bridge, and they do a close up of his fucking missing 2 front teeth. Gene also says that he heard a rumor that the Bushwhackers are going to have dinner at Buckingham Palace, which the Bushwhackers do confirm. And then it basically let Gene know that they're going to take a shit there.
That's good. That's good.
Basically what they're saying. Because we're going to use the bathroom afterwards. We're going to sit on the royal throne, if you know what I mean. Junior loved this shit stuff, man. He
was getting ready to.
He's got a weird fascination with poop.
With poop?
Yeah.
I know. Remember? Yeah, I know. I know he has a weird fascination. He shit on a woman during a 3-way. I love the way you said it. Like you're just going, this guy's got a weird fascination with shit.
Lord Alfred Hayes, he's outside the Warriors dressing room. This time he says he thinks Perfect is in there and he tries to get a sneak peek, but the door gets shut on him and he says, that's rude. Okay, but what you're doing is fucking rude, you piece of shit. Match number 5, which is a match I don't think should have been on the card at all. Repo Man versus Crush. As Crush walks down the aisle, the camera angle gets a shot of his fucking hairy ass armpits. Fucking disgusting. Repo Man starts the attack early to no effect as Crush gorilla presses him, and then he ends things with his Kona clutch fucking submission hold. What did you think about Repo Man versus Crush?
I mean, when I was younger, I liked it because it did feel like, remember they were both in Demolition together. So it did kind of feel like Crush was moving past Demolition, like he was like, that's in the old. But it was just a glorified squash match.
Yeah, it was like a 5-minute match. There's like no substance in any of these matches.
No.
Mean Gene, he's talking the championship match of Macho Man versus the Ultimate Warrior, and whose corner Mr. Perfect will be in. They do a recap of the whole feud between Warrior and Macho Man, and Ric Flair and Mr. Perfect's involvement in this, including a tag match against the Nasty Boys. And we're gonna go right into the co-main event. It is for the WWF title, Ultimate Warrior versus the Macho Man. The Warrior is wearing a muscle airbrush singlet.
Yeah, I have a figure of this outfit, and I didn't remember where the outfit was from. And then when I saw it, it's like, oh, that's where that outfit's from. It's a weird outfit.
It is a weird outfit. I wonder if it's because he had to relax using steroids.
I think it's was remember they fire him for they fire him shortly after this for having drugs on him. So
Mm.
he probably
They-
like was freaking out that he had to like lean down. So
yeah. They shake hands to start, but turns into a shoving match right away. The crowd is going nuts. But there is a slight more of a warrior chant than there is for Macho Man.
yeah.
The match is back and forth, and eventually Savage does a flying axe handle, and Warrior no sells it, and he starts doing his indigenous dance, regaining strength. Savage hits a second one, and then the Warrior goes down. Savage goes for a crossbody, but Warrior catches him and drops him in a backbreaker for two, and then Warrior starts to dominate the match. Dominate. And then when every time Savage fires back up, there would be some boos that I could hear. Did you
Yeah.
hear those boos?
A little bit, yeah, yeah.
Warrior regains control and he works on Savage's back, but then spills to the floor. And Savage hits an axe handle from the top rope all the way to the floor. Signature Macho Man move that I love. Ric Flair and Mr. Perfect show up. And when the ref is not looking, Mr. Perfect tripped up Randy Savage when he was running the ropes. And then there's a ref bump. And then a Warrior hits an axe handle. And he's covering Macho Man, but the ref is slow to the count. And he doesn't get a 3 count. There's a second ref bump. This time, Earl Hebner, the referee, he goes like flying out the ring. And as Savage goes to revive the referee, Mr. Perfect and Ric Flair, they go into the ring and they attack the Warrior with brass knuckles. Warrior is still able to do his fucking indigenous dance and fire up. But when he runs the ropes, Mr. Perfect, like, he feigns tripping him. And as the ref's distracted and he's like yelling at, admonishing Mr. Perfect, Flair hits Warrior with a chair. I thought this was really well done.
Mhm.
Savage, who now he starts realizing what's been happening, all this fishy business with Mr. Perfect and Ric Flair. He sees Warrior on the mat and he goes up to the top rope to hit his elbow drop. He knows if he hits an elbow drop on Warrior, he's probably gonna win. But he doesn't win. He doesn't want to win like this. So he has second thoughts and then he decides to just fly off and attack Ric Flair. But Ric Flair just hits him with a chair shot to the knee. He tries to crawl back into the ring, but he gets counted out. Ric Flair and Mr. Perfect start beating on Savage, but then Warrior saves Savage, and then Warrior gets the belt, and he gives it to Randy Savage, because even though he won by countout, so he doesn't get the title. And then they leave together. I thought Randy Savage selling of the knee after the match was superb, but this match was shitty.
Well, it's just because that storyline sucks. It's like the payoff is Ric Flair and Mr. Perfect were just fucking with both of them. And it's like, that's stupid. Like, so, like, what if like in the first 3 minutes of the match, Savage and Warrior roll up one or the other and they pin him? It's like what is the end game here? Like, what is the plan? Like, it's just stupid, and then it just takes away from the match, because logical conclusion is one of these guys turns on goes heel, right? But either one turned heel, so the plan is fucking stupid. But also, why would Macho Man turn heel? This guy just claimed that he fucked his wife. And then why would Warrior, and if you turn Warrior heel, nobody wants Warrior heel. So it's just dumb. It's a waste of time. It takes away from the match. It would have been better if Ric Flair just wasn't involved. Like, he's just not in this match. Maybe at the end of the match he attacks, like, maybe at the end of the match he just like hits Savage with a chair. But this whole thing, like, it's to build intrigue for a shitty finish. It was
it was. You didn't need to do 20 minutes to do this kind of fucking shit ending, you know? Like, you could have
just have Ric Flair come out at the end and attack both.
Yeah, exactly. It just was like it just like the whole thing was just a mess to me.
Yeah.
Afterwards, Mean Gene, he's in the back with Ric Flair and Mr. Perfect. And they start yelling, and you know, this Mean Gene's credit, he starts yelling at Mr. Perfect. You were lying this whole time about being in one of their corners. And Mr. Perfect goes, that's exactly right. That was plan A. We wanted to double cross both of them. But we're not going to tell you what plan B is going to be. And I'm like, yes, because there probably isn't a plan B.
well, a couple of weeks later, Razor Ramon interferes and costs Savage the belt against Ric Flair. So I guess they could say because Randy Savage was weakened in this match, they could cost him the belt. But it was stupid.
Yeah, it was really dumb. Yeah. So Howard Finkel and Harvey Whippleman, they kind of get into it during the intros for this next match, which will be Match number 7, Kamala with Kimchi versus Taker, who comes out riding the back of a hearse to a great big pop.
Yeah, people, this is very that's an iconic image of Undertaker, one of the first really big iconic images.
I mean, there's a lot of iconic images from this show.
Yeah.
Like the Legion of Doom riding motorcycles
Yeah.
out with the gold gear, and this, yeah, and then now this Undertaker with the riding the back of a hearse. That is a cool entrance, and I was thinking like, man, they should have done this entrance a lot. It was
Yeah.
just so cool looking, you know? It's just really cool looking. You see two young fans sitting in the audience dressed like Undertaker, which is another iconic image. Taker does his old school move up the top rope, but he goes for it again, but only the second time he gets knocked off the top, and the fight spills on the outside. They go back inside. Undertaker clotheslines Kamala and choke slams him, and then tries to do the tombstone, but Kimchi causes a DQ for Taker to win. Kamala keeps attacking after the match, including a top rope splash of his own, but Taker sits back up and then slowly chases Kamala back up the aisle. What did you think about this?
Sucked. It sucked. It was
Yeah,
hard. It was the
terrible.
worst Undertaker match I've seen so far. Sucks. It is. It's really fucking bad.
Yeah, it's really fucking bad. It's really
Yeah.
fucking bad. Yeah, this is the worst Undertaker match we've seen so far. This is like,
Yeah, and he has a lot of bad matches. He said that to Bruce Pritchard. You constantly put me against people who couldn't work, but this one's really bad. This one is
yeah.
short and terrible.
hmm
Yeah,
One thing I will give it, thank God it's short. You know,
it is short, but I don't
yeah,
think Kamala could go that long. So
yeah. Sean Mooney, he's with the Bulldog, who says, I didn't make this match. Jack Tunney made this match. And yes, we're brother-in-laws, but in this match, I don't know him. All right. And he's like, I'm performing in front of my country, which is a dream. So I'm not under any pressure. Then Mean Gene, he is with the Intercontinental Champion Bret Hart, who just asks him his thoughts on what Bulldog says. And he goes, hey, if anybody's proven who could work under pressure, it's me. And he says, he's annoyed that the Bulldog says he doesn't know him in the ring. And he says, Bret says, he doesn't know me. What the fuck? I'm the one who introduced him to my sister. And when he first came to WWF, man, who's the one who helped him the most? It was me. And he says, oh, performing in front of your people are a dream? I'm going to turn it into a nightmare. I fucking loved it. That was a good promo by fucking Bret Hart. I like
good
it.
promo from Bret Hart. Yes.
Yeah. The Balmoral Highlanders band, they're performing traditional Scottish music, and Roddy Piper comes out to play with the band. Another guy who should have had a match in the show.
Well, he was really wrestling at the time.
Yeah. So it was funny because when Roddy Piper comes out, Bobby Heenan goes, "What's he gonna do? Break dance?" I thought that was so stupid. Anyways, that was the only appearance of Roddy Piper. Isn't that also an iconic moment where he's playing with this fucking band?
Yeah, they use it in a lot of like highlight packages for Piper.
Yeah, and it's so many iconic scenes. Sean Mooney,
It's a well shot show. I mean, the matches aren't that good, but it's a well shot show.
You're right, absolutely right. Kevin Dunn, brother.
The vibes.
Yeah,
Good vibes. This show has good vibes.
Very good vibes, yes.
Yeah.
Sean Mooney, he's in the stands with Diana Smith, who's the wife of the British Bulldog and the sister of Bret Hart. And she goes, I don't really care who wins. Doesn't really care. I value family more. And, it came off like actually like a real interview. So good to her. Good for her. Match number 8. This is for the main event, the Intercontinental title. I think this is one of the first times I'm seeing the Intercontinental title as the main event.
Yeah, it's one of the first times. Yep.
British Bulldogs. He comes out with Lennox Lewis, who is a heavyweight boxer at the time. With Bret Hart, the champion, comes out next. He comes out to some booze.
Well, I mean, this is British Bulldog's home country.
Yeah, I took a lot of notes on this match because I love this match. Feel free to break in anytime. Okay. Bret gives
this match. This is how good this match is. This match, number one, makes you think British Bulldog is a great worker. He has a reputation of being a pretty good worker for the rest of his life, even though he's not. And number two, this match is so good, it makes you misremember that this whole show is actually good.
That's a very good point.
That's how good this match.
Good point.
Yeah.
It's funny you say that because I still to this day think British Bulldog is a good wrestler.
Yeah. And yeah, that's how good. And I think this is the match where Vince is like, Bret's the guy. At this point, Bret is the guy. This is one of the most It's one of the most. I remember when they booked this match, I was like, why? Like, why? Like, who cares? And then like everyone was blown away by it. It's a really good match.
Yeah. But there was a story behind it as well that you were really into, and just
Yeah.
like,
Oh,
yeah.
by the way, you skipped over Diana Hart's promo. I hate that fucking promo. That's such a weird promo.
No, I talked about it.
Oh, you did.
Yeah, she's talking like Sean
She
Mooney
tries to
was
compare
saying.
herself to like great women of history. I'm like, all right, relax, okay? You fucked the British Bulldog. You didn't fucking. All right, just calm down. She looks like a Looney Tune. She looks like she's on like drugs and stuff. That promo.
I mean, here she didn't look like it. She looked like
No,
she was like,
she looked like she was like on fucking mushrooms when they were dogging her.
really? I didn't get that sense.
It's such an awkward, and it keeps going and going and going. She acts like she acts like her husband's about to like join the fucking Navy in World War II or something. Like it's really fucking weird. But yeah, so let's break down the match for us, Andrew Lee, bro.
Yeah, and cut it anytime you want, okay?
Yeah.
The Bret, he gives his shades to a kid and he sticks out his hand for a 5. And I don't know if you saw this, the kid's dad thinks it's for him and he wants to give Bret, he wants to shake Bret's hand, and Bret's like, no, I don't want to. And he has to shake the kid's hand. I was like, Bret, this guy's never gonna see you again. He
Yeah.
really, you already gave his son the fucking shit. He just shake this motherfucker.
Brett's trying to get. He's trying to. He doesn't look back then. They had nothing but contempt for people our age that watch this. They were all about the kids. Now people our age think they're the most important people watching the show. You know.
Yeah. So the match starts with the Bulldog getting the best of Bret Hart with multiple shoves, including there's one time where he shoves Bret out of the fucking ring, right?
Yeah.
Establishing a power dominance between the two. Bret comes back in and then he starts to take down Bulldog with mat work multiple times. He multiple times demonstrating that Bret will have the edge with technique, which Junior does point out. He points this whole thing out.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a great way to start the match because you see, like, this is the story of the match. This guy's got power. This guy's got better technique. And we're going to see which one prevails. Bret hits the first hard shot of the night when he hits a fucking back.
You know what I think? You told me. You know what I think too about Vince. One of his strengths is that the fact that he didn't always present a 5-star Tokyo Dome match, so that when he did, like tonight, he knows going into this. All right, you want wrestling? I'm going to give you wrestling, but it's treated as special, and because he treated it as special, people remember this show for like 30 fucking years as a special show because.
Yeah.
Because it's and his commentary is more sports based in this when usually it's like he knows when he's presenting to you a great match and it means more than every match trying to be a great match.
And I would say one of the things I think everyone can agree on, Vince McMahon was a pretty good commentator. You know, say what you will about his
but like,
stuff, but
even the Iron Man match, he starts getting more sports. He stopped being entertainment based. It's more sports based what he's talking about, him and Jerry Lawler. So he knows like it's an attraction for it to be a great match. And when every match is a great match, nobody cares.
That should be a good commentator, though. Someone who could go from like goofy to serious. He should be able to switch them. Absolutely.
Which is my problem with Jon Moxley having like a 20-minute fucking epic with Lee Moriarty, you know? It takes away when he does it in Wembley in a few months.
So the Bulldog, he's got some technique of his own, and he starts. He gets out of Bret Hart's armbar and he applies his own armbar. And as they get a shot of Diana during this exchange, and then Bobby Heenan asks, "Is that Mike McGurk?"
Oh, that was a funny line.
That's for those of you guys don't know, Mike McGurk is a former WWE WBF announcer. I just when he goes, "Is that Mike McGurk?" That was really funny.
Really funny.
Yeah. Bret tries a few times, but he can't get out of his armbar. He can't get it off. But Bret hits a hard knee to the gut, and he gets a lot of big boos from the audience. Remember, the only one who's taking the really hard hits, who's doing the hard hits so far, is Bret Hart.
Well, Bret Hart basically wrestles himself in this match. Yeah.
Yeah, and when the fans start booing, Bret starts looking around at the audience, perplexed by the boos, and he looks at the camera and he mouths. Basically, he looks at the camera and he starts going, "I'm gonna give the fans something to boo about." And I was like, "Oh shit!" It's like heel Bret come into play. This is great. Bret starts hitting him with hard back elbows, reverse atomic drops, Samoan drops. He's like really now the techniques are over. It's hard hitting moves all on Davey Boy Smith, all getting boos. Davey is able to fire back, but Bret regains control with a boot to the face. And but Davey tries to fire back some more, and he goes to the top rope, and he fucking goes for a dive, and he misses Bret. Bret bits on Davey. He beats on Davey some more, and then Bobby Heenan makes a reference to Razor Ramon, who is now already in the WWF at this point.
Yeah. He's coming.
Yep. Bret has a sleeper on Davey, who is able to crawl to the ropes, but Bret won't let go. And when he gets forced off, he applies the sleeper again. And Davey finally fires back and takes control and hits a power slam, but Bret kicks out. Davey crotches Bret on the top rope and hits a superplex, but can't win. That was a great superplex. Double clotheslines, and they both go down. And while on the mat, while they're both just laying there, Bret starts putting on the sharpshooter, and he fucking turns around and he's in the sharpshooter. And Davey Boy Smith, he saves himself, and everyone goes fucking crazy. The crowd's cheering that he didn't fucking tap out. Diana looks like she's on the verge of fucking tears at this point.
Yeah, because her drugs are out. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, to me, I think it's like good acting. She's like, her husband's struggling, and she's crying because
she wanted a job for years from Vince. She wanted to be an online character. But I think Stu and Davey were like,
Yeah, I mean, what was she gonna do? She's like, was she gonna be a valet? What was she gonna do?
I think she wanted to be a valet. She wanted to be like Sherry Martel. I think she's trying to emote to show Vince, hire me, like make me a star.
She should have worn something more revealing. What can I say?
She should have said I like poop.
Yeah,
she'd be in the Hall of Fame right now.
Yeah. So Bret Hart, he whips Davey into the ropes, and then he hits a sunset flip cover. But Davey Boy Smith, he sits down and he fucking hooks both his legs for the win. The crowd goes absolutely bananas. And they show Diana. Now she actually is crying. And Bret is just fucking laying in the ring, defeated. Bret's he's just still sitting on the ground, and Davey Boy Smith with the fucking title over his shoulder. He extends his hand for Bret. Bret gets up and he just fucking walks away. And he tries to leave, but the fans start booing. And Bret finally goes back and he shakes Davey Boy's hands, and he hugs Davey. Then Diana joins, and they all hug and they all raise their hands. The fucking crowd is going bananas here.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's people crying. The show ends with Alfred Hayes saying, "Cheerio, everybody," and off camera somehow. I don't know why I put that in out of nowhere, but
well, because they're in England, so Alfred Hayes he's the king of England over there, so he had the.
But man, tell me about this finish. What did you think about this finish?
It was great. It's like an iconic finish. This match, there's a lot of wrestlers, especially in the UK. I don't know if you remember watching when they were having the pandemic during NXT UK. A lot of NXT UK wrestlers were saying this match is what got them into wrestling. Like, this match just changed a lot of lives. This, you can say what you want about the rest of the card, but this is probably one of the most important matches in WWE history. And it's a shame that, Davey Boy Smith gets fired 2 months later, and he never comes this height ever again.
Yeah, I would say this whole pay-per-view is garbage. It stinks as a pay-per-view. I would not recommend watching it. But this match, as a wrestling fan, you need to watch this match. This is one of those, like, you have to watch it. Yes, I agree.
It's really good. It's really good, and it is. It stands out because it's almost like out of nowhere. Like, you don't expect Bret Hart and Davey Boy Smith to main event. I mean, nothing leading up from the year before this would indicate this is gonna like main event and be this fucking good. And when it's this fucking good, I think that's when Vince realized that Bret is the guy. He's the next Hogan. And he was wrong, because I stopped watching when he made that decision. But, look, I tuned out. When Hogan left and Bret Hart became the man, I tuned out. However, when I got back in during the Attitude Era, and even nowadays, when I go back and watch the Bret Hart matches, especially as we're getting into his prime, all his matches are the highlights. Like, when there's a Bret Hart singles match, it's the highlight of what we're doing. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it was. I mean, at the time, it wasn't the right move, but I think it worked out in the end. Except for that poor woman who got pooped on. It didn't work out for her, but
it didn't work out for her.
You know what I realized? I realized it today. Like, I think like Eric Bischoff and WCW were the good guys in this saga. Like they were the ones to make this guy sweat, and maybe it would have been better if like they stuck around. You know,
Oh, I 100% think it would have been better if they stuck around. It would be more competition, but Eric Bischoff's one of those guys. He got in his own way as well. You know.
he got his own way, but luckily he didn't poop on anybody. Well, he wife swapped, but that was always consensual. I mean, no, I mean, he went to the strip club and he said to a hooker, "I'll pay you, come back and have sex with my wife, and I'll watch." And that's what between adults. Like that's
No,
not like
that's okay. Yeah, yeah, that's fine.
it's
That's fine.
fine.
Yeah,
I mean, but he paid Eddie Guerrero more money. Like he gave Eddie Guerrero a raise after his car accident. That's a good person.
yeah.
I'm sure he tipped well. The stripper that fucked his wife. I'm sure he gave her a nice tip. He didn't poop on her.
No. What's next for us, brother?
What's next? Speaking of shit, Halloween Havoc 92 next week, Sting versus Jake Roberts. Then in 2 weeks, Survivor Series 92, Shawn Michaels versus Bret Hart. In 3 weeks, Starrcade 92, Battle Bowl, and
Oh,
Sting
God.
versus Vader. And then in 4 weeks, Royal Rumble 93, Bret Hart versus Razor Ramon. What are you looking forward to?
Actually, the Royal Rumble. I like Royal Rumble. I think, dude, it's like I said, I love Royal Rumbles. They're just fun to watch.
I consider
And Bret Hart
93.
versus Razor. What were you gonna
I,
say?
I consider the 93 Rumble match itself to be like the worst Rumble match.
93.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I guess I'm gonna find out. Let's see.
I'm looking forward to the 92 Survivor Series. Like again, like I don't really remember much about that Shawn Michaels Bret Hart match, but I kind of want to see what they were doing in 92 together. And I haven't seen that show as much as some of the others. I've seen it more than 91, but I'm interested to watch that show again. So 93 Rumble, I've seen a bunch, and the undercard 93 Rumble is when I start realizing I may not be so into wrestling anymore around that time.
Mm.
I was like, and then King of the Ring 93 is a hard out for me. I'm just done. And I don't come back until January 98.
Oh man, when do I leave? When do I start leaving wrestling? I forget when, but I think it
Dude, in
may have
94, 95, I was embarrassed that I used to like wrestling. Like I was embarrassed.
really because I was still watching wrestling up until like I want to say, you know what? I don't. I think I only had like a brief pause, like of not watching wrestling. Probably only for a few months because I think right around the time where like Bret starts getting fucked is when I stopped watching.
Brett starts getting
I was
fucked.
not. Yeah,
Oh,
I
screw,
was
screw.
not a
I thought you meant Brett was having sex in the ring. I was like, wait, what
no,
was
like I was not a fan of them making him a bad guy and him
Yeah.
getting screwed. I was so upset by that. And then when I heard about the screw job, I said I'm not watching anymore. And
Hey, I used to look down on like I remember January 96, these two kids were talking about what happened in 96 Rumble the night before, and I looked down on them. I was like, you're pathetic.
no, I was like that too. In like '98,
Yeah.
I was like that too.
Meanwhile, like I've
And
watched the 90, probably they watched it once and they moved on with their lives. I've watched the 96 Rumble now like 42 times. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like
yeah, I'm 40 years old and I'm 41 years old and I'm
you
still
like
watching wrestling.
if I
Day
walked into
one.
if I walked into like fucking Target and they had like an 8.99 Royal Rumble 96 shirt, I'd buy it. Like I'd be like, hey, give it to me. Like you know, I'm like these fucking look at these fucking children. I'm like these fucking little kids. They're my age at the time. I was like, but yeah, I take a heart out, and I'm around 93. But
Yeah,
I've
you
gone
take
back
a
to
heart
watch.
out early. You take a heart out early.
Yeah, yeah.
You missed the whole NWO thing and everything.
I still haven't seen most of 97 WCW, so I'm looking forward to seeing it.
I mean,
Um,
like, hey, I mean, that's when I started watching. I was watching that. Anyways, we'll get into it more when we get
we'll
into it.
get as we get in, but like we'll get in like because I don't have a lot of memories of 95, 94, but like we'll get into it as we progress. But yeah, I was so annoyed that Hogan wasn't on this show. I was like, how fucking dare you not have Hulk Hogan on SummerSlam? How dare you have Hulk Hogan miss a SummerSlam? And it was in such a big building. And then when they brought him back, I was like, this feels off. And then when he lost the belt and then he left, I was like, fuck this. This is bullshit.
Well, according to Hulk Hogan, he was there. You ever hear him say
Everything.
it?
Yeah. He was with a sick kid in Wembley. Yeah.
How do you feel about all those Hulk Hogan lines?
What?
How do you feel about all those Hulk Hogan lines?
Lies?
Yeah.
I mean, they all lie. All these wrestlers lie. Triple H lied
Oh,
last night. He said he didn't really know about
yeah.
the lawsuit against his fucking father-in-law.
Fair point. Fair
They're all
point.
liars. Cody's lying.
Fair point.
They're
Yo.
all absolute fucking liars. So like when people like Hulk Hogan, like it's always funny to me when people like they'll call like a wrestler for being this, that, and a third, but they'll be like, but this wrestler's okay. Like, dude, I saw a tweet where somebody was saying that Triple H has a lot to deal with because he raised his daughters right. He raised his daughters to respect people and talk. Like, how the fuck do you know how he raised his daughters? How the
Yeah.
fuck do you know what was going on in that house with Triple H,
Mhm.
Stephanie, and his kids? For all we
That's true.
know, for all we know, there could have been some weird, and probably wasn't. I'm not saying there was. There could have been some weird shit going on in that house. We don't fucking know. How do you know how Triple H has done anything? Like, I will say this based on the history of wrestling, just assume everyone's a pile of shit. And
I agree. I think so. I
you'll
think that's a
never be
good thing.
disappointed.
Yeah, you'll never be disappointed. Exactly. And you know
Never
what? If you go like, I can't watch wrestling because everyone's a piece of shit, I'd be like, well, then I can't. I guess you can't watch movies or listen to music either because you know what? There's shitbags and everything. Fucking
yeah,
Steven
but
Tyler married like an underage girl so she could take her around the world and fuck her.
who's
Does
that?
that mean I can't listen to any more Aerosmith music? You know, right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, but like my thing is like I don't like that wrestling's for everyone. Wrestling is positive. Just love wrestling. Just this positivity bullshit. No, wrestling's not for everyone. Wrestling's for fucking losers and people who should be ashamed of themselves. And wrestling is and like, dude, you know why Triple H like had that snide? Dude, you know what got me on the Triple H remark? He goes, I just want to focus on the positive, not the negative. And then he went on about the Netflix deal. All right, so tomorrow, Andrew, you win the lotto. You win $500 million. And then on Thursday, you get arrested for murder that you didn't commit, and you get sent to prison with no chance of bail, right? Did you have a good week? Yes or no?
No.
You had a bad week. You're not gonna be, I just want to focus on the positives. I won $500 million on Monday. No, you're in jail for a crime you didn't commit, and this could
Yeah,
ruin
but
your life.
Triple H didn't go to jail.
No, what I'm saying is the company has this really bad lawsuit. This really like it could be a damaging lawsuit in terms of finding sponsors if it gets worse. And you did not have a good week. It doesn't matter about a Netflix deal. This
No, I don't think anyone's. I don't think I've heard anyone say what he said was
but the
handled
fact
well.
that that's the road he went, he just thinks we're all idiots. And but the thing about it is Vince could get away with that. You can't Triple H.
I would say Triple H does think we're idiots.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
Where do you
let's
think he
just
learned it
focus.
from? He learned it from fucking Vince. Yeah.
Exactly, but he's not Vince. That's what he's gonna learn. He's not Vince. Vince could do that. Vince could be like, "Hey, Vince, there's all this proof that you shit on a woman's head. Well, I just want to focus on the fact that Cody Rhodes won the Rumble. You know, he could do it. He had a way. Triple H does not have the way, and he's gonna find out.
I think he's already finding. Yeah.
I think he found out last night. Yeah.
Yeah, he found out last night.
All right, guys. Next week, Halloween Havoc 92. Speaking of people who don't have the way, we got fucking our best friend Bill Watts. We'll see you then, right, Andrew Lee?
Yep.
Yeah, we will see you then, and thanks for everything.